And we're going to continue reading about what we did yesterday with Trouble is Brewing. So in the top left corner of your paper, I want you to draw a teapot. So kind of like the one we did yesterday, where it has a spout going out. And just do your best, even though they are kind of hard to draw. So draw the teapot, and we're going to write a word under it. What word are we going to write under it? Are we going to write the word tea under it, or are we going to write the word Boston under it? Think. Answer?
Tea.
Okay, let's spell it together. T-E-A.
T-E-A.
So, yesterday we talked a lot about tea, and the people that we were talking about lived in Boston, and there was a stamp tax that they had on all paper products. Later, they removed that and put it on tea. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Let's also draw the city at the bottom. So I'm going to draw like 3 or 4 buildings, and you don't have to draw windows, just the buildings. Did our story happen in the city of Boston or in New York? Did it happen in Boston or New York? Think. Answer?
Boston.
And is Boston a common noun or a proper noun? The name of the city, is it a common noun or a proper noun? Think. Answer?
Proper noun.
So that means we're going to capitalize it. So spell it with me. Capital B-O.
Capital B-O.
S-T.
S-T-O-N.
O-N. Does anyone remember what they called the people that lived in Boston? Taylor?
Bostonians.
Yeah, Bostonians. And then the Bostonians were fighting against people that wore red jackets. And they used some slang terms for those people with red jackets. What was one of the things that they called the people with red jackets, Ashton?
Lobsterbacks.
Yeah, lobsterbacks. Very good. And what was the other name they called the people with red jackets? Peyton? Yeah, redcoats. So it's the Bostonians versus the lobsterbacks or the redcoats. Let's draw another picture here, and I'm going to have money stacked up on each other. And that money symbolizes something. Make sure you're drawing the picture. That money symbolizes something. What does that money symbolize? What's that word we're going to write under it, Dominic? Tax. And yeah, let's write taxes this time because there was a lot of taxes going on. Spell it with me. T-A.
T-A.
X-E-S.
X-E-S.
And did the people like taxes or did they hate taxes? So like or hate? Think. Answer?
Hate.
Yeah, they hated being taxed. We're going to draw one more thing up here. And we're going to draw 3 stick figures. And these 3 stick figures are kind of what saved the day and changed everything. One of these people was named Paul Revere, and he was in this group. What was this group of people called? Justin?
The Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, perfect, the Sons of Liberty. So let's spell it together. S-O.
S-O.
N-S.
N-S.
And then O-F.
O-F.
L-I.
L-I.
B-E.
B-E.
R-T-Y.
R-T-Y.
The Sons of Liberty. Why were the Sons of Liberty important? Does anyone remember from our story yesterday, Taylor?
There was like this liberty tree.
Yeah.
And they gather people around who disagreed with like taxes, and they'd say like no taxation without limitation.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, very good. So they gathered around this liberty tree, and that's where they got their name, right? Okay, let's put our writing journals away, open our small books, and we're going to turn our small books to page 10. So put your writing journal away, page 10 in our small books. Finger under the first word, which is some, and make sure that everyone in your group has their finger under the word some on page 10. Finger under the word some. My turn. You point on page 10. Some of the most passionate protests against the Stamp Act took place in Boston, Massachusetts. There, angry crowds took their frustration out on
Tax
collectors. A new group of protesters formed in Boston in response to the two words,
Stamp Act.
The group met under a tree that they called the two words,
Liberty Tree.
They made public speeches against taxes and the British government. They cried, "No taxation without representation." This group became known as the three words,
Sons of Liberty.
Eventually, after much protest, the British government decided to repeal the Stamp Act in 1766. Parliament eliminated the
Tax.
on two words,
Paper products.
but in 1767 it replaced it with other taxes, including taxes on imported goods such as tea. These taxes were officially called the Townshend Acts. Okay, finger under the word sum on page 10. Finger under the word sum. Voices together.
Some of the most passionate protests against the Stamp Act took place in Boston, Massachusetts.
There.
Their angry crowds took their frustration out on tax collectors. A new group of protesters formed in Boston in response to the Stamp Act. The group met under a tree that they called the Liberty Tree. They made public speeches against taxes and the British government. They cried, "No taxation without representation." This group became known as the Sons of Liberty.
Eventually,
After much protest, the British government decided to repeal the Stamp Act in 1766.
Parliament eliminated
The tax on paper products, but in 1767 it replaced it with other taxes, including taxes on imported goods such as tea. These taxes were officially called the Townshend Acts.
Okay, raise your hand if you're a wizard. Raise your hand if you're a wizard. Okay, don't look on the board yet, but wizards, repeat after me. Who were the Sons of Liberty?
Who were the Sons of Liberty?
Okay, that's kind of a second grade question, right? So now let's go to a sixth grade question. Wizards, repeat after me. Explain how
Explain how
the Sons of Liberty
the Sons of Liberty
affected items
affected items
that were being taxed.
that were being taxed.
Okay, let's say a little bit louder and in one breath, wizards. Ready? Explain how the Sons of Liberty affected items that were being taxed. You have 5 seconds to match up with your muzzle. Remember, when you're talking to someone, look at them in the eye, but you can also refer back to the question. So wizards, ask your muggle this question, and muggle, you're going to answer with restating the question and in a complete sentence. Ready? Go.
Explain how the Sons of Liberty affected items that were being taxed. The Sons of Liberty affected items that were being taxed by they were in the Liberty Tree, and they would gather around the Bostonian people, and they would say, they'd cry and say, like, "No taxation without representation." And
Okay, let's go back to our seats. Raise your hand if you said something or heard something that you thought was a really good answer that you want to share with the class. Ryer, go ahead.
I said that the Sons of Liberty affected items that were being taxed by, like, telling people that you shouldn't buy the tea and asking people not to sell it, because then that tells everyone that they agree on the
Yeah, very good. Brent, go ahead.
So Peyton said that on, she stated the question, I can't remember about that, but she said that in her answer, that they made these speeches to stop the taxes.
Yeah, very good. Let's look on the board for a second. How many of you said or heard some of these words? Is unfair, protest, they wanted a voice, or to repeal, which means to take away. How many of you said those words? Okay, so not very many people. That's okay. These are just some of the things. Your answers were great when I was walking around. Your answers were coming from the text, and some of these were new vocabulary to us, so that's okay. Okay, let's go to the next page on page 11. We're going to read this page. You're going to echo the page back to me, and then the muggles are going to ask the wizards. Except wizards, since you're answering, I want you to use some of the vocabulary from the text. So when we're reading it, look at words that would make you sound really smart. Okay, let's look at page 11. Finger under the word tea. Finger under the word tea. My turn, you point. Tea was a popular drink in the colonies, just as it was in Great Britain. However, many people decided they would not buy two words.
British tea.
If they had to pay, and two words.
Unfair tax.
And they thought the new tax on tea was every bit as unfair as the old tax on paper. After all, the new
Tax.
had been approved by the same British Parliament in London, and there were still no representatives from the 13 colonies there. Suddenly, deciding to take a sip of tea meant something more than just having a
Drink.
If you bought British tea, you were paying a tax, and indirectly, you were agreeing that Parliament had the right to tax the colonies. On the other hand, if you
Refuse.
to buy British tea, you were making a statement of a different kind. You were saying that you did not approve of and would not accept taxation without representation. Colonists were
Angry.
about the new tax, agreed not to buy British tea, but they didn't stop there. They also visited inns and other places that sold tea and asked the owners to stop selling it. Many establishments agreed to boycott British tea. Okay, let's go to the second paragraph. Finger under the word suddenly. Second paragraph, finger in the word suddenly. Voices together.
Suddenly deciding to take a sip of tea meant something more than just having a drink. If you bought British tea, you were paying a tax, and indirectly, you were agreeing that Parliament had the right to tax the colonies. On the other hand, if you refused to buy British tea, you were making a statement of a different kind. You were saying that you did not approve of and would not accept taxation without representation. Colonists who were angry about the new tax agreed not to buy British tea, but they didn't stop there. They also visited inns and other places that sold tea and asked the owners to stop selling it. Many establishments agreed to boycott British tea.
Okay, Muggles, raise your hands. Okay, repeat this question after me, Muggles. Why did the people stop drinking tea?
Why did the people stop drinking tea?
That's kind of a first grade question. Let's show how smart we really are by asking a sixth grade question. Explain how
Explain how
tea affected
tea affected
Great Britain.
Great Britain.
In one breath, Muggles. Explain how tea affected Great Britain. Okay, Muggles, go ask your wizard. 3, 2, 1, go.
Explain how tea affected Great Britain.
our seats. Looks like most people are done. Raise your hand if you want to share something you said or heard. Taylor, go ahead.
Maddie said that the people would not buy the tea because it showed that they approved of taxes and that they put, and Britain would put it in other colonies, and so the people didn't buy tea, so it showed that they disapproved of taxes.
Perfect. Nice answer, Maddie. Okay, Ashton, go ahead.
I said that they wouldn't, it was, the tea was part of their country or state, and they really loved it, and all of a sudden they start putting more money, and so is want they, like the tax, because they keep putting more money that they don't have.
Yeah, great answer. Let's show some of these words. Can you use some of these words? Tax, boycott, unfair, refuse to buy. Nice job. A lot more hands at this time. You're using vocabulary from the text. Excellent. I want you to pass those small books. Listen until I'm done saying this. Pass those small books to the leader. Leader, you're going to put them back where they go. Then you guys are going to line up in lunch line order. Okay? Go. Listen, that was the second. Yeah, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely.
Boys and girls, excuse me. Thank you so much.
Okay, face forward quietly.